first question will be answered by candidate Aisha Chughtai, and it is the one that's in your rules. Will you suspend your campaign if someone other than you is endorsed by this convention? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Thank you. Candidate Millard?
No.
Okay, now, you each have up to 1 minute, but it's up to 1 minute to answer the questions. We'll start with candidate Millard. Timekeeper is right down here, and it's a 1 minute time framework. What is your position on George Floyd Square? 1 minute.
Thank you for that. My position on George Floyd Square is that we need to listen to what the community has been asking for, what the residents in that neighborhood have been asking for, as well as the business owners. And what they want is a flexible option. The number one bus, Metro Transit, actually goes through that area, and we want to keep the area open so that buses can continue to flow through. They can shut down the street when they want to have an event or a memorial or a remembrance, but we can actually be able to utilize the street when it's needed, which is exactly what the community has been asking for. And we are here to listen to the community, and we are here to follow through and advocate for what the community wants, not what we want, not our own ideas.
George Floyd Square, 30 Chicago, is the site of one of the most transformative, painful moments in our city's history, in our collective history, and that space is significant not just to the people that hold George Floyd Square, the community members that have been tending to that space for the last 5 years. It's important to so many other families who've lost loved ones to police violence. And so making sure that the future of this space has an element of pedestrianization, a memorial to the life and memory of George Floyd and all those who lost their lives to police violence is really important. That's what I'm committed to.
And you get the next question. This is a long question, and I'll hand it to you after I read it, so that you can look at it if you want to. What is your position on increasing access to necessary public health accommodations for the homeless community, such as medical respite facilities, public restrooms, and warming shelters being built and maintained on major corridors like Hampton, Glendale, Nicollet, and Lake?
Every person in our community, and every person who's experiencing unsheltered homelessness or any spectrum of homelessness, is worthy of being treated with dignity, with compassion, and with the care that they need. Solutions like medical respite facilities, which prevent people from going back into the ER over and over because their wounds are not being cared for properly. That's what they are. Along with public health services is so important to meaningfully addressing this crisis and supporting the surrounding community. I'm really proud of the work I've done to approve and dedicate resources to these solutions, and I think, and I'm looking forward to continuing that work with you all.
So I believe in short-term and long-term strategies. Short-term, we have got to create an environment where we're getting supplies, basic needs, feminine care products, and we need to create an environment where warming centers aren't just available in the winter, but we actually have a plan for them year-round. I believe that respite medical facilities are actually important, but we need to attach them to the hospitals that already exist. We add more money by transporting, by creating a new facility and building out a new facility when we take that building and move it someplace else. A lot of the hospital spaces can be utilized for this same thing, and I think that we should look at that. Long term, we need to create more transitional housing and emergency shelters because we just don't have enough. And going the rate that we're at right now, we will continue to see the results that we have until we have a long-term strategy, which takes 2 to 3 years to build out, but we also need to allocate funding towards that in order to make sure that it's successful.
Before we proceed to the next question of public service announcement, Kevin Crowley is eligible for upgrade in precinct 3 and Johnny Evans. Here's the next question. Are you labor endorsed?
No.
Oh, she doesn't like labor, huh?
Did she just probably say no? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only labor endorsed candidate in the of our city and our economy, and I'm really proud to have their support.
Next question. What are your strategies for working with those with whom you disagree? What are your strategies for working with those with whom you disagree?
To me, at the end of the day, all that matters is bringing more resources to my community and advancing the solutions that you all sent me to City Hall to advance. I will work with anybody and everybody, and I have, in order to build the type of city and community that I know we need here. You know, I got to work with, as an example, we were able to fund safety ambassadors for Uptown because I got to work with Councilmember Rainbow, who represents downtown, someone I take many opposing votes with often. Leadership is collaborating with your community and with your colleagues, whether you agree with them or not, to deliver results. And I'm really proud that continues to be a hallmark of my office.
She just said no with the labor question. With labor.
I will be able to work with whomever the mayor is, unlike my opponent, because that is what is essential to getting elected. I will also work with any public safety holders, including MPD, who my opponent also does not have a relationship with. I will also be the bridge that will build the relationships that we need between the city, county, and states, and I will be able to do that successfully. We need everyone to be at the table to be able to see our ward advance forward, and the reason why we are in the predicament right now is because the person sitting next to me does not have that ability.
What is your vision for Ward 10 that reflects all residents, including those living in the ward for 30 years?
All right, I need everybody in here to close your eyes. If you're walking around, if you're talking to somebody, take 2 seconds and close your eyes. My vision is this. 4 years from now, we will be living in a Ward 10 that is safer with declining crime rates across the board. We will have a thriving business community and corridor. We will have children that can play outside without random gunfire or finding needles and sharps in the park. We will have people walking the streets in droves. And we will have 40,000 residents who know that they genuinely have a council member that cares about them and that will answer their call no matter how big or small the issue is.
I want to build a Ward 10 where every person has what they need, not just to survive, but to thrive. Whether you're someone who just moved here because you want to live in a state where you're not being persecuted by anti-trans legislation. Whether I want to make sure you have a place that's safe and affordable and dignified. I want to make sure you know we have your back. Whether you're someone who's lived here for 30 years and you want to spend the rest of your life here and making sure that you can afford to age with dignity in your home so that you are not forced to move out of this community because you can't afford desperate repairs that your home needs. Those are important to helping make sure everyone can thrive in our city.
Last question. What will you do and what have you done to increase public safety in the city and ward, and also ensure police accountability for treating everyone fairly and equitably?
Everyone deserves to feel safe in their home and in their neighborhood in Minneapolis, and I'm committed to making sure that all residents are served by a diverse and comprehensive public safety system that is responsive regardless of where you live. It shouldn't matter what zip code you live in that determines whether your 911 call gets responded to or not. I'm running for re-election because while crime is down around the city, it is here to end, not at the same level of improvement we're seeing everywhere else. A big part of what's driving that is property crime, and I think about how we can address that, and it's through those crime prevention specialists. This is a solvable problem. I'm working on making those critical investments because I want to see a safer Minneapolis, and I'm excited to continue partnering with you to make that a reality. Thank you.
I will allocate funding to the Reimagine Yourself program that my opponent actually voted against that actually increases the diversity of public safety. The second thing I will do is I actually have built relationships with our 5th Precinct MPD, and I will continue to build those relationships. We also need to allocate more funding to our behavioral health crisis response teams because we need to alleviate some of the workload, and we understand that not every 911 call is for an officer. But we also need to make sure we are at our charter numbers. So unlike my opponent, I would actually vote to increase the funding towards MPD so that we can actually have
Thank you. That concludes the question and answer session, and I want to have a big round of applause for both candidates.
Thank you.